Hi, this is Melissa Booth. This is week 1 discussion about supporting at-risk learners. Supporting at-risk learners is one of the most important aspects of creating an inclusive classroom environment. For far too long, at-risk learners have been identified as having deficits and incapable of learning the same content as students who are not identified as at risk. Finally, the education system has begun to recognize that risks associated with a child's ability to learn should not be viewed as deficits, but as ways to challenge all of us in the educational system to develop and implement strategies that allow all our learners to have the same access to knowledge. This means identifying the knowledge gaps, assets, funds of knowledge, cultural differences, neuro differences, and interests that all our students bring to the classroom. One way we can ensure we are using the universal design for learning to create an inclusive learning environment is to utilize technology in the classroom so that students who need assistive devices to access learning are able to do so. Using UDL in the classroom means no students have to feel ostracized for needing to use technology as a learning tool. Access to computers for typing instead of handwriting assignments, access to the use of voice to text, access to calculators, and teaching strategies that utilize a variety of teaching methods are all ways students can be given access to learn through technology that may allow certain students to learn content and to be assessed in that content that may have otherwise been too difficult to ascertain with certain standard teaching methods. One way we can help English language learners is to use sentence frames to help students ask questions and express needs and ideas. Sentence frames offer students the framework for speaking their needs and ideas in English, so they help English language learners frame their questions and responses through English grammar and syntax, allowing them to become familiar with and learn to speak common sentence structures. Sentence frames are part of UDL because they not only help ELL students learn to structure English sentences, but they also help all students learn to structure sentences in constructive ways that help them ask questions and speak their ideas in coherent ways to others around them. This, in turn, also helps all students strengthen their grammar and writing skills as well as their vocabulary. One way we can help students with IEPs and 504 plans is to incorporate small group instruction into our daily lessons. Small group instruction has many benefits for students who need accommodations and/or modifications to the classroom learning materials and assignments. One benefit to using small group instruction is the ways in which co-teaching classrooms can divide students into groups that allow education specialists to focus on their specific students while still keeping them in the general education classroom environment. Learning cycle groups are beneficial for students needing interventions because they are short-term ability-based groups that allow students to revisit concepts that may have been lost or never learned, filling in knowledge gaps that allow students to move on to more difficult concepts without becoming overwhelmed. Cooperative learning groups offer students the opportunity to work with people with differing strengths to help one another learn concepts through peer-to-peer interaction. These groups are especially important for teaching the importance of diverse learning needs, styles, preferences, interests, and strengths, and for showing students how they all bring their own funds of knowledge and strengths to the learning process. Small group instruction follows UDL because it creates opportunities for all students to access knowledge by exposure to a variety of people and their individual strengths. Choosing to incorporate UDL in the classroom is the best way to ensure at-risk students have access to the same learning opportunities as their non-at-risk peers. Assistive technology, sentence frames, and small group instruction are all wonderful strategies for teaching all students while opening access to content for at-risk learners. As educators, it is of the utmost importance that we are continually researching current teaching practices, applying them in our classrooms, and monitoring how these practices work for our students. We should always be adapting to the needs of our students year after year, month after month, and even day after day. The more we can incorporate teaching strategies that both address the knowledge gaps our students have and create inclusive learning environments where all our students feel welcome and able to learn, the more we will be able to provide a well-rounded education for all our students.